Good morning. So nice to have you join us, and we are so happy this morning to kick off the show with Brian Smith. And you know what? We're always kind of humble here in Chattanooga. We try to be, right? We know we've got a good thing going on, but we try to be a little bit humble with it, but not anymore, because bravo to all of us. We are a national park city, and I know you're super excited.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful honor. It's an up and starting sort of concept here that really kicked off in 2019 with London becoming the very first national park city, then Adelaide, Australia, and there's been 5 more that have been competing, if you will, for the next one, that being like Glasgow in Scotland, Brighton in the Netherlands, of course here in Chattanooga. There were some other cities in the United States too that were vying for this particular honor as well. And really what a national park city is, it's almost like thinking of the national park system being in one little city. So national parks, you would think Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Yosemite, Smokies, things like that. But also the National Park Service is cultural locations, historic locations, wildlife areas, national seashores. We have just about all of that right here in little old Chattanooga.
Right.
So the foundation, including a National Geographic explorer who came up with this, said, why not celebrate cities like little small national parks? And that's kind of how this overall concept was born.
Okay, I want to pepper you with some questions because I know people have a lot of them. But before I do that, you mentioned the National Geographic Explorer. He is going to be here, right, at this event on Saturday?
Absolutely. So we're going to be celebrating us receiving this achievement on the 19th, this upcoming Saturday. Wonderful concert down by Rothschild Landing from 12 until 7. But yes, Daniel Raven Ellison, who is a National Geographic Explorer, will be here in town. He'll be here Thursday through Monday, kind of going through town, checking out some awesome sites, but also here just to help us celebrate as well. Okay,
so I'm going to play devil's advocate for just a minute, because it's easy to get excited about just the recognition and how cool is that? We're the first city in North America, right, to get it.
Absolutely.
Yet, people who are locals here, I think, have a lot of questions. Like, okay, if this is a national park city, and you mentioned the National Park Service, are the feds about to get involved in the way we run our show?
Absolutely. So this has nothing to do with the National Park Service. Now, we reached out to them. They gave us a letter of support, but this is not controlled by the federal government. What really happened is that Daniel Raven Ellison loved the concept of national parks and that idea, and so he thought in his mind, why not national park cities? And at the very first time when we started thinking about this, I actually wanted to change the name. But then I kind of kept the name because of the curiosity with it.
So is it kind of an in-name only recognition as opposed to something that carries any responsibilities with it, if you will?
So the responsibility is more on us. It's keeping us as the city, as well as all of our partners. We've got about 60 of them, from the Tennessee Aquarium to Reflection Riding to the zoo, and the list goes on, including Baylor, GPS, things like that that support this. And it's kind of like an accountability as well. So there's a 23 criteria that we have to go through that was started by the National Park City Foundation, and that was, does your city support becoming greener, healthier, and wilder? What are some action plans that are in place? Things like the tree ordinance that was just passed.
Okay, what's that, the tree ordinance?
So the tree ordinance was just passed by the City Council and obviously Mayor's office as well, and that's kind of really fine-tuning the way we handle trees and sort of clear cutting. So when a business comes in, instead of just them kind of clear cutting an entire area, they must put trees back in place, up to about 36 inches in diameter. So they won't eliminate tree clear cutting completely, but they have to plant a certain amount of trees. And then also too, the city, we must make sure that we maintain the trees that we do have here in town in our urban canopy, as well as maintaining, as well as making more trees or putting more trees back.
So if you ever experience having a beautiful tree in your neighborhood, in your yard, and the city came in and kind of sculpted it in a way you wish they hadn't, that might be a little bit remedied.
I mean, we've got the city forestry, we've got our natural resources department, everything too, to make sure our trees, in some cases, that might be because of a tree not being healthy or also because of a safety issue too.
What about things like businesses? Are they, even existing businesses, are they going to have to adhere to new standards now?
So there's no taxes, there's no sort of any sort of requirements or any
They can still use plastic if they want to.
Yeah.
They can have plastic straws.
Yeah, think of this as more of just kind of a name and celebrating the people and the organizations that are doing the great work.
Okay.
So places like I mentioned, the zoo with their Hellbender research, the Tennessee Aquarium, not necessarily just the aquarium itself, but it's the River Institute and what they're doing to save the laurel darts and the sturgeons that they're putting back into the river. And the list goes on. So that celebration is, what are the organizations, some for-profit, some non-profit, some just individuals that are doing to make Chattanooga a better place. And that's the overall goal of a national park city, is creating a greener, healthier, and wilder city.
Your hands will only go, I guess, to the city limits, but you mentioned the Laurel Dace. That's up in Spring City.
Sure.
So you're watching all this growth occur, right? Like North Hamilton County, Ottawa area that's growing like rapid fire. So is it possible that some of this will expand out and these principles might be put in place in other parts?
So it already has kind of expanded out in a way, because we work with the Tennessee River Gorge Trust. We also work with Lookout Mountain. National Park Partners is part of our partners as well, which helps work in correlation with the city and the battlefields. Hamilton County is very much on board with this too. So we do kind of expand out. We've been working with Thrive Partnership as well, so recognizing a lot of the work that they are doing. And really, as you start going forward, the city is going to grow no matter what. We're not trying to prevent any sort of growth, but we want to do it in a better way or a smart way.
Right.
Yes, housing developments, more locations are going to come on board, but we want to make sure we do it in a responsible way and possibly a better way too as we grow.
And it sounds like something that's very much intended to be beneficial to the residents who are here, that the tourists get to enjoy, but it's intended for the residents, not for outcomers.
I think this is a celebration of the residents here, because really Chattanooga is a place where you can go vacation in your own town.
Exactly.
And this is another way of recognizing that.
Well, kudos to you. I know that you